You're listening to the Soulless Minions of Orthodoxy, alternative DVD commentaries. Hello, my name is Josh, and sitting with me in the Soulless Minions studios is my brother Justin. Say hello, please.
Hello, please.
Tonight, we're going to be watching Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut.
Yay.
All right, this should be pretty interesting. This will actually pretty much wrap up our look at the entire Superman canon for the most part.
Still don't actually have any memory of actually recording Superman the movie.
But we did. Well, there's still a lot more in the Superman canon we could do. Superboy.
Oh, yeah.
But this will cap up all the Reeve movies anyway. But thankfully, we do have a Richard Donner version of the film to do. So,
when we did Superman, did we do the theatrical cut or did we do the special edition / Donner cut of?
I'm pretty sure we just did the theatrical version.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what we're doing today, the Richard Donner cut. So go ahead, cue up your DVD or Blu-ray, get it to the point, the black point after the Warner Brothers logo has faded to black. On the Blu-ray, it's 29 seconds. That may vary for the DVD, but just get to that point, and we should be all synced up. So when you hear me sing on pause, we'll all do so together and watch the movie in sync. Here comes the countdown. 3, 2, 1, unpause. So you're seeing the DC Comics logo right now. And a whole lot of black. This picture is dedicated in loving memory to Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, they did set up this project, obviously, after Christopher Reeve passed away.
Well, I'm glad we get to do this, Justin, because some time ago, you did Superman, the Richard Lester cut, the theatrical cut, without me. And I was really pissed that you did it without me, because we're on every Superman commentary together except that one.
Well, your presence was, your lack of presence was felt. So,
well, you did a good job on that commentary, but
well,
it is missing me, so I'm a bit disappointed. But I'm glad we can do it again, sort of. With the Richard Donner cut, which is, well, what do you prefer?
The Donner cut versus the theatrical?
Yeah.
That's a really tough question because neither version is perfect. Is the problem? And no film is perfect, but let me rephrase that. I think both versions are equally flawed. The Lester cut is, of course, the cut that we all grew up with. So I'm very familiar with the pacing and unfortunate mismatch tone in that movie. Even the scenes that were taken out of this cut, I like the scene in Paris, for example. I like that scene, but this one, while it gets all of that Donner footage back, obviously. It's just not everything I'd hoped it would be. So to be honest, I would say I love them both equally. Now, if you were to ask me which version would I watch if I decide I want to sit down and watch Superman 2, I would probably go with the Donner cut. But if someone were to grab the wrong one and put in Lester's version, I wouldn't feel bad about it either. Like I said, they're both equally flawed. Long-winded answer.
Yeah, I pretty much have the same opinion. But I don't know. I mean, is it because there's certain moments, Superman and Superman 2 are films that we've seen so many times. You get uncomfortable when it's not delivered to you in that exact way. And you could see it as an example in this scene right here, where it's cut differently.
Yeah, it's
the same scene. It's just cut differently, and
it's not just they're using different shots.
Using different takes.
Different takes.
It's a little jarring to me. But I mean, when Terence Stamp is doing his scream, both of you, and then one day Yours.
Yeah,
it's a different take.
I actually like that,
and I like it too. It
is disconcerting because yes, you're used to it being a certain way.
I think you get a different shot of Terence Stamp after he screamed, and
I believe you did.
And you see him kind of relinquish his fate. He's kind of exhausted, and you see him kind of collapse in on himself. It's very subtle. it's very Terence stamp. It's good.
Yeah.
I like that shot. This stuff, on the other hand, this is kind of the result of their budget not being very high.
That's
for this
exactly what it
restoration.
was. It was a budget thing. They were able to.
Well, I mean, they're obviously using footage that. I mean, this stuff, no, but this stuff here. Obviously, they're using footage that they shot.
Yeah, that's real footage. However, it looks like it's almost playing at a different video frame rate versus film. There's something very video about it. And I think that's part of the reason why it looks so out of place. I don't know how.
Maybe
that's
it was
possible.
the way it was mixed with these new effects. Made it look a little cheaper.
Yeah, something, because that's what it looks like. Unfortunately,
this stuff is different.
Well, yeah, this is just an alternate take they had from Superman the movie, which is cool. It's nice to see that. That's almost
to see him pop out like this.
Yeah,
instead.
that's a little Easter egg for all of us Superman fans. I mean, who knew this stuff existed?
And the fact that it's in such good shape.
Yeah, which is phenomenal. But see, look at the way that thing's moving. That looks like it's right out of Superboy, the TV show.
It does.
I'm telling you, I think it's a video frame rate. When they produce those effects in the computer, it doesn't look like they were done at 24 frames a second. It looks like they were done at 60.
Mm-hmm. See, I like the Paris stuff too, even though that's Lester.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, you said something in your Superman 2 commentary was, people have that kind of notion that everything Donner did was good, everything Lester did was bad. That's not necessarily true.
No, it's not, because Lester did do...
Donner did the moon sequence, and not that the moon sequence is bad per se, but
they are sitting there in an oxygenless atmosphere,
and there's gravity problems and stuff like that.
It's not perfect.
No.
But what makes that work, and you being willing to forgive it, is his direction of the performances and the content of the scene itself.
So, they kind of have a recap here, just like they did with the Lester version. They recap the events of the first one a little, not quite the same way, obviously, but
yeah, no, it
but
uses...
bringing you up to speed, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's quite as effective as the recapping in Lester's.
No, but it's all right.
I mean, yeah, it's effective. It does the job, but one of the little.
I wonder. No, go ahead.
I don't know if it's really a problem, but in doing this, I got the impression that at certain points, and I'll probably not be able to point any of them out, but it seemed like they were just intentionally doing it different because, like when there would be a scene that they had to keep in this that Lester may have shot, but that they had alternate takes of or something or other. It seems like they went out of their way to do it differently. Just because, to be different,
just to be different, yeah.
Even though Lester did it perfectly well, that shot always looked odd.
Well, the rocket coming out of the atmosphere.
No, when it zoomed in on him pushing it, it's like he wasn't moving at all. It was like he was a statue or something. It was strange.
More new effects here.
Now, of course, anyone watching this is probably well aware that this was how Superman 1 was originally intended to end. Mm-hmm. We were supposed to see this at the end of Superman 1.
Well, okay, I know. They weren't supposed to use the
Why
Earth.
would they do the Starfield like this? I mean, what the hell were they thinking?
I don't know. The first one was not supposed to end with him, going back in time, reversing the Earth's rotation. That was supposed to be the end of part 2.
Right.
But, of course, while Lester was still attached, right, they decided, no, we're going to end it with him rewinding time.
Right.
While Lester was... Well, what had Lester planned to do with the end of part 2? I mean, did he even get around to thinking about it before he got canned?
You mean Donner?
What did I say?
Lester.
Yeah, I meant Donner.
No, they hadn't. When they decided to...
So why would he still go with this? I mean, he's 100% the first Superman. Why would he still go with reversing time in the end of part 2?
Because they figured they would have time to go back and just come up with a different ending for part 2. I mean, it was really that simple.
Yeah, but he didn't. He chose to go with reversing time. I mean, why would he still want to do that? I mean, let part 1 end with reversing time, and then this cut, he can choose something. Did he really have much of a choice? I mean, he would have to choose the memory kiss, right?
Wait, I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Well, what I mean is that he completed the first Superman. His name is on it. That's his.
Sure, yes.
And he allowed them to end it with Superman rewinding time.
Yes.
Okay. So, with that said, now, when it comes to restoring this film, he decided to nix the ending of the first Superman with rewinding time and rewinding time here. So why not just accept the fact that
But he's not. This movie is... this is why this movie's kind of confusing, because unfortunately it's not negating the effect or the ending of Superman 1. It's not saying that he didn't... well, in a way, this movie is like a big what if is what this movie is. I mean, we just saw the recapping of Superman 1. And did you see in there him rewinding time? No, you didn't.
So it's kind of like...
this movie's like pretending...
This is an alternate reality.
Yes, this movie's like pretending that in Superman 1 he did not rewind time.
Okay.
Which is why, of course, he does it in this one.
Okay.
It's...
Well, I'm sure given the option, he could have come up with another ending that wasn't, the Earth being reversed. But
you mean for this?
For this. If
yeah,
he had
see,
an
that's
option,
the thing.
But he doesn't now anyway.
I'm actually surprised that they didn't in Superman 1, the actual original cut. I'm surprised they didn't, because even though he reverses time, he still threw a rocket out into space. I don't see why they didn't end the movie with showing that rocket blow them out of the Phantom Zone to set up Superman 2 still. I don't see why they couldn't have still done that. I mean, that was their intention. So I don't know why they didn't. But maybe they were just doing that under pressure from the studio, thinking, well, just in case one doesn't work out, we don't want to set the audience up with a sequel that's never going to happen. Maybe. I'm totally guessing. But nevertheless, so yeah, this movie's basically a big what if. What if Superman 1 ended that way and he did not rewind time? So, yeah. But now your thinking is the same, that this movie is equally flawed as the original, that neither is better.
Yeah, I mean, they both have their strong points. I wonder if right here, it's still crediting David and Leslie Newman and Mario Puzo, and then he's creative consultant,
right?
Tom Mankiewicz, even though it's pretty well known that Tom Mankiewicz pretty much wrote. I
mean, yeah, he took some of the...
But, this is the Richard Donner cut. Could he have, campaigned, hey, let's give him the screenwriting credit? Or is that some kind of no-no in the, the guild?
The screen actor, not screen actors, whatever.
The directors
the guild is for writers. There's probably rules against it, yeah because the Puzo and the Newmans...
That must have felt good for him to see. Directed by Richard Donner.
Yeah, it must have
probably.
As you were pointing out earlier, this franchise is a sore point for Donner. I'd like to think he's gotten over the bitterness of it. And it's
this
totally
shot
understandable.
They reused
like
3 times. I mean, this is the opening of Superman 3 too, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the same shot.
They did.
Do another shot.
That's terrible.
I know.
That's just terrible.
But I just didn't recently rewatch this. I picked up the DVD like a month ago, and I was checking it out. I hadn't seen it in a while. I'd forgotten that it opened like this. I really like this opening scene. Where she's
look at her. She's cute.
She looks good.
Yeah, she does.
You're not going to see her looking too thin. At least
those. Not in this version. There's a couple that they had to use.
Yeah, that they had to use for.
But yeah, no, she looks good here. This is what I remember now. Recording some of the first one, we talked about her, and she was cute in the original production. Her teeth are a little funky, but she was cute.
I mean, I like this. I'd totally forgotten about the scene. She just picks up this marker and draws glasses on Superman, but it kind of comes out of nowhere.
It does.
And that bothers me.
Well, I'm sure...
If someone would have said something to her, like, God, their feet similar.
Well, the thing is I'm sure if Donner was able to go back and complete shooting the movie, as they intended to do...
He would have put in something.
He probably would have opened the movie with some sort of,
but this stuff,
Superman action scene where she saw him in such a way where she started thinking, and then bang, here they are at the planet, and now she's connecting the dots.
But this stuff I just love. This is a nerd's dream. This is a whole other movie.
It is.
And it's real. I mean, this is good looking. This is good footage.
Yeah, this is.
And you're like, they really made a whole different movie. And it's amazing how much they actually shot and didn't use.
Yeah.
And this stuff was just locked away for decades. You're like, this is incredible.
It's really a major miracle that the footage survived.
Yeah, it didn't deteriorate.
Given
that,
I'm pretty sure the Salkinds were the ones that had hoarded it for a long time, I'm surprised they didn't destroy it because they're assholes.
Maybe they kept it. They knew it would bring them money someday.
Well, yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, this you can't tell this footage quality-wise apart from the the Lester footage. It was that well either maintained or restored. It's amazing.
And it looks better than the Lester I don't know why, even though it's both shot by the same guy.
No, it's not.
Oh, the stuff. Oh, Jeffrey Unsworth didn't work with Lester.
No, Unsworth passed away before they came back for the reshoots.
Oh, yeah, you can tell. I mean, the stuff that Lester did has a different look.
This stuff, Unsworth was famous for shooting through smoke, and you can see it. It's got a haze to it.
Mm-hmm.
His stuff in the new stuff in the Planet, it doesn't look bad,
and it just has that
it's sharper,
that 70s cinema feel that we've talked about so many times.
It sure does.
And which I just loved. I mean, there's a juiciness to a lot of 70s films.
Definitely.
I was watching a Godzilla movie last night, which I know you're a huge fan of.
Yeah.
And it was The Terror of Mechagodzilla, and it was shot in like 77 or something like that. It had that same feel as this.
Yeah.
It had that juicy 70s feel, and I was like, man, they just don't make movies that look like this anymore. It's a shame.
No, they sure don't.
Something more in blue.
Lois, as usual, I'm totally in the dark.
Well, let me just turn on the lights for you.
So right away, she's suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this. He looks like Zorro. A little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is really strange because a good reporter isn't supposed to let anything slip by her.
Well, that's
Yeah, look at her. She looks good.
Excuse me. Yes, sir.
Yeah, not my type, but much
Well, just
healthier.
I mean, as far as Margot Kidder is concerned,
yeah,
she looks good.
was definitely,
This
looking
is
the
why they
best.
hired her.
Yeah.
She's got something here,
Well, they do. They look good together.
and together they certainly do.
Yeah.
And I'm nobody's fool.
And you can tell that this must have been somewhat early-ish in the production, because he looks. I think his hair was a little shorter.
Because they shot it, they didn't shoot it back to back. They shot it just out of sequence, out of order.
So they
or
shot
whatever.
all the planet stuff at the same time, and all the fortress stuff at the same time, that sort of thing.
You wouldn't let me die, Superman.
This,
Ba-da-doo.
I remember you speaking ill. No, wait, you didn't speak ill.
That's a bad effect.
Well, it's all right. It's
that
not
was
bad.
cool how we rocketed out of there.
That's not bad. I mean, they blurred it, so it didn't look so bad. It didn't last long. It's okay. Oh,
This looks like Superman 4.
a little bit. Yeah.
But, I understand they can't. If they had unlimited resources, they could
Nobody
probably,
saw this. He
Him
just used his
doing
his laser
Yeah,
vision right in front
I
of
know,
everybody.
I know.
I mean, it's kind of, it's not bad.
No, it's not. And like
I
you
mean-
said, we're watching a completely different movie.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that
of
was.
course, that's not Chris Reeve at
Yeah.
all.
I was like, what? That doesn't look like him. What's going on? What is that?
They didn't have that shot.
Oh, so they had to.
There's another shot in the movie, which now that you're seeing it on my big screen, you'll see it.
Okay.
But another where if you didn't notice it before, you'll look at it now and go, "Oh my God, why did they keep that shot?" Because that's really not Christopher Reeve at all. In fact, it looks like the guy that played Superboy in the old Superboy show. Looks like Gerard Christopher.
You're making me want to watch that
The Superboy.
just so I can see
it's
how.
it's hard
Because I know he was replaced.
Yeah, I don't have the
So.
seasons with Gerard Christopher. I have the first season with
Yeah, the first guy was
the first
replaced.
guy.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they give him glory? Did they give him treasure?
And that is a bald cap.
Life plus 25, Luther.
This it's pretty good
it
for a
looks
bald
good.
cap.
pretty much the only time we're going to see him bald. Hackman did not want to shave his head to be Lex Luthor, hence the wigs. And,
See, they got that thing around his neck to cover up
I want my Libby Rocket record back.
the the ending of the bald cap.
Oh, never thought about that.
Yeah.
You're right, though. I never noticed it.
Well, it's obviously why he's the only one wearing that around his
I
neck.
just never thought about it, to be perfectly honest with you.
Eyes off. Where?
And, I know it's probably sacrilege to say this, but, this
Ski?
scenes, I always skip this.
Yeah, it is a little.
Man has his bullet
Yeah.
point.
Everything in the prison, I felt it just
This stuff
slowed
is
it
in
down.
this is in the Lester cut.
Yeah. This
Okay.
is all here.
I
think
can't
they,
remember.
much like the opening scene, I think they might use a different take here or there, maybe an added line. But it's basically the same.
The little black box. You don't like the black box, or what the black box does? That whole scene.
No, I'm talking about
381 out.
No,
382 out.
No, I don't like the projector.
No,
and
no.
that ridiculousness.
No. Well, it's too futuristic. It's a hologram, basically.
It is. It's ridiculous, man. That's
It's
Star Trek
territory.
technology.
Yeah.
Now, what I never heard, I've never heard, and you know, the production and the making of Superman 1 and 2 have been well documented, but they never explained why, as a matter of writing, why Otis was written out of part 2. You know, because it's not like, you know, because of Lester taking over, that had anything to do with it. It was clearly written into the scripts that at the beginning of Superman 2, Otis is left behind in prison, yet he was such a presence in the first one. I find that interesting, you know, and I'm curious what their thought process was behind it.
Well, he wasn't such a presence.
But he was there throughout the whole movie. He was Luthor's henchman. And the same thing goes for Miss Tessmacher. Miss Tessmacher disappears. She just disappears.
Yeah, she does.
And they don't explain it. You know, I'm at a loss.
I really don't know. I mean, he does just this. I mean, in the
at least Otis is explained.
Yeah, but yeah, Tessmacher. No, she does just kind of.
She does disappear.
And
but
they changed this line in here, and I wonder why. Just because it was just to be different.
Yeah,
you know, I like the joke in the Lester cut. I was in high. You know, how would I know? I was in junior high or high school or something.
Right.
And they change it, and I'm like, why? That was a fine joke.
I forget what was the difference. What did they change it to?
I don't remember, but something not as funny.
Some of this might be different, but I know that line you're talking about. I remember it as being different.
No, I mean, if it works, it works. I mean, Donner shot both versions.
Yeah, so just because Lester chose to edit it a certain way, why'd he got to cut it? You know? Yeah, the Rorschach test.
Service conditions unchanged. Well, it's mighty pretty out there.
Pretty.
And then, of course, because they're using only John Williams recordings for this version, you're not hearing the same bits of score, which unfortunately I don't think were used quite effectively as they did in Donner's cut or Lester's cut, because it was reorchestrated to fit the scene perfectly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this one, it's still, I mean, even Lester's version is Donner's material, but it's reorchestrated though. So it is timed perfectly and all that. This is, you know, you just sampling the tracks. And like this scene, for example, the music's different, and it's not as creepy. And that's an example of this movie where I felt like it hurt the movie, because they were so dedicated to not using anything from Lester's, you know, side of the production.
Well, they had a lot to live up to,
and I get that. You know, it's just,
people wanted to see something different.
So like here, the music's different. You can't hear it, of course, but
no.
It is different, and it's, in my opinion, just not as good. And it makes that moment less sinister.
I usually don't like watching this scene because they're so cruel to these guys.
I wish they were more cruel, really.
Really? It's just tough for me to watch. It always has been.
It is hard, you know, because there's something about space, you know, and...
Wow. Saw the wires on him. Did you see that?
No, I wasn't looking.
Oh. See him now. Or maybe you can't.
The boulier.
Well, I heard the Russian in Hunt for Red October. Astafayak Bakoyak.
And the sound effects are different.
Of him kicking him?
Yeah.
Really?
It's those little things. It's sense memory. You know, I'd seen the Lester cut so many times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that's part of the thing of watching.
I don't remember what the sound effects were in the Richard Donner cut.
Right.
You know,
they're just different.
I hear the Lester sound.
Exactly.
You know,
and
that's
you
what
know
I hear.
it. That's the problem, is your mind knows, and it calls attention to it, unfortunately. I mean, that's nobody's fault. It's just, you know, it's what's going to happen when you've seen the same movie for 30 years, and then it's suddenly different. Again, this is another example of the music being different and not to the best effect.
Somebody help me!
Oh no. Yeah, sad.
Yeah, so here comes your joke.
Here comes the thing. Yeah.
He said a curl.
Well, really? Artemis, come in, please.
All right.
The radar got jammed.
Oh, this is it. All right, which one of you
Raspberry.
guys, is that the hairdryer?
Oh, is that what he? I missed it. Oh,
Or
sorry.
maybe it comes in later.
No, that was it right there. He just gave that look.
Oh, they cut
That
it
look.
out.
That
oh,
that
they cut the curl out.
that expression he gave right there was initially to how would I know? I was in high school.
Right, right.
But he just said something else about a hairdryer. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, I said which one of you guys was using the hairdryer?
Oh yeah. See, it's not. It doesn't work as
No,
well.
it doesn't. No,
So-
why would you? Like you said, Donner shot that. Why would they?
So
cut
why
that out?
change it? It's fine.
Yeah,
Even though it was edited by, supervised by
I
someone
know.
else.
It's like get over it, guys. Come
Yeah.
on.
To rule. Finally to rule.
I do have to wonder why they chose to, portray gravity in this way. You know.
So yeah, you just threw down the flags.
Yeah,
And they just
come
fell
on. They
straight
knew,
down.
They knew better. Why would they do that?
Well, they would still fall, just not as
they
quick.
wouldn't fall like that. Yeah.
No.
Put a wire on it. Do it a little differently.
Well, looking at it,
385 out.
35 out. Lights out, Luthor. Looking at it different a little bit now, since we have Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
And in that film, Zod had a bit more of his motive was a little. It wasn't like just to rule.
Yeah, it was.
It was nice.
Two-dimensional.
It was it wasn't very dimensional, but
I that's actually one of the things in Man of Steel I really did like.
I can hear the. It's like.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Man of Steel? Yeah, doesn't it in the Lester cut? Doesn't it go on a little bit longer? I think it does.
It might. See, look, this is Donner.
This is Donner stuff.
But people assume that goofy things like that are Lester, and it wasn't. Donner did put quite a bit of humor into it.
In movies, security guards are always watching TV,
I
never
know.
paying attention
Did
to anything.
any of them do anything right?
They
ever?
never. No, they've always got a little TV.
I have to say that one of my favorite prison escapes in movie history is from Raising Arizona. When they dig their way out, and he pulls John Goodman pulls the guy, and he's
pulls
like,
the guy out. Yeah, yeah.
He's holding him up by his leg. I love it. Did you just go psst? No. See, again,
This is all Donner stuff.
It's all
I mean,
Donner
the
humor.
idea of him, no one seeing this balloon coming in or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just very.
Don't go psst when I go psst.
It's all a little silly.
It is, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's not over the top. I mean, we're not talking about pies in the face.
No, thank God.
Like in the ending of 2 and then the beginning of 3.
I do think though it's a little too much. That's funny, but it's too much all at the same time.
It's like, yeah, it is. I think I found it.
I mean, they are escaping from prison.
Yeah.
It kind of takes the threat away.
I gotta wonder, what was Lester think? I think you had the same thought when you did the commentary for part 2. The Lester version anyway.
Mm-hmm.
When the guy's talking on the phone and then he gets blown over and he keeps talking on the phone. He's like, yeah, and you're like, what were they thinking?
I
Did they?
don't know.
How did they think this was playing? I'm like, this is a serious scene and you've got this going on.
I know.
Your hair. What about mine? It's ridiculous.
I know it is.
It's so goofy. This guy's not even paying attention either.
It's amazing.
Spotlight guy. Yeah.
They've got a comic book sitting there on the
I wonder
table.
what kind it is.
I
man.
never noticed that.
Nah, I know. Just to the second, I didn't either. You can't weigh that much
I know.
to bring down the whole thing.
But yeah, like I said, I wonder why. Maybe they only had Ned Beatty for a certain amount of time, so they wrote it into the script that, he'd only be there for half of the production. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I'm just amazed that it's never been brought up.
See, and they get
Now,
away.
this was fixed.
I mean,
If you notice, this in the Lester cut, the background right now was different. It was like daytime.
Oh yeah.
And people were like, "Wait, it was just nighttime."
Yeah.
That was a real beef with people. So they went in here and they
went back to the original negative.
They did, and
they to get a clean
fake blue, because they obviously shot it up against a
clean plate,
either a green screen or a
blue screen
or rear projection. Could have been both, but either way, they were able to clean this up and do this.
Isn't this scene different anyway? Isn't it go on longer? They talk. Their conversation is different.
It's different dialogue.
Yeah,
the parka and all that stuff.
The whole idea of them being able to escape in this balloon. I mean, it's not like it's a fast traveling object.
No, it wouldn't be hard to find it.
And no, I mean, they could just follow it in a truck from the prison.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just, they know we still see you. You're not in a supersonic jet. It's like you're going to be pretty easy to follow.
You don't have a cloaking device.
Yeah, it's look at them. They're not moving that fast. I mean, what are they, like 100 yards from the prison by now? It's like we can see you. It's a big Hershey's Kiss floating in the sky.
Exactly. Now here
already
we are
at Niagara
Falls. Now this is Lester footage. This is, I think, probably in this movie so far. I think this is the first Lester footage.
See, originally there was a preface to this in the Lester cut that took them here. Right? I mean, they just didn't. It didn't go from Lex Luthor from that scene to this scene. There was more. There was something in between, wasn't there?
There was another scene like at the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
Before they went to Paris.
See, look, yeah, you can see her face.
Yeah, she looks very different. Before they did the Paris scene, talking about them being set up for this honeymoon thing and tourists being taken for money and all that. That's why they're there. It's probably there in dialogue in this version too. We just didn't notice it. But
is it supposed to be cut up like this? I don't remember it being cut up.
No, originally they go into the room, and there's issue with being tipped and all that. But again, see, they only use as much of that Lester footage as they need to tell the story, and then they're out of there.
So, are we to assume that he took this balloon all the way here?
Who knows? They don't tell us.
Yeah, they would say.
Now, this is all footage we never saw.
No.
Or at least not. Some of it we did, some of it we didn't. But it was different. But this I don't recall seeing in the original.
Well, see, I mean,
this is definitely not.
This is something,
This is like right out of James Bond.
It is, yeah. This is something I have a problem with, it being too easy to get to. This would be a journey. A real journey.
Well, in theory it was.
And they get there just fine, for the most part.
Yeah, they arrived on set.
They would not be dressed so comfortably. They're going into the Arctic.
Oh, I know, yeah. They're pretty...
They would have survival gear on and packs,
like they did in Superman Returns when they got out there. It was quite an expedition.
Yeah, it was. At least that part they got right in that movie, anyway.
Yeah,
sort of. Sheesh, I don't want to talk about that movie.
I know. Let's not point out something good.
The movie doesn't exist. Jeez. No, you pointed out something good in that movie a little bit ago, and I was really surprised.
In Superman Returns?
Yeah, you brought up something. I was like, wow, that was really nice of you to say.
Oh, I don't know what it was.
So we're going to see Marlon Brando in this scene.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
See, here we go. Humor,
But it's very light. It's not over the top. I don't know if they did the, they fixed up the Marlon Brando stuff very well. His stuff doesn't look that good.
What do you mean, the floating head?
His floating head, and then when you see his whole body, it just doesn't look very good to me.
Well,
I mean, I'm guessing that's just a sign of this restoration's budget.
I really think it is. I think if it were given...
It looks out of place to me. It looks different.
I think it's because of the frame rate. I really think that has something to do with it. I mean, I agree.
Didn't you say you never really liked this Fortress of Solitude?
You mean the
design?
The design? No, I didn't say that.
Oh, well, I remember you saying something about that.
No, in fact, when we did our commentary for Man of Steel, we did one for Man of Steel, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I do remember us talking about the fortress, and that this imagining of the fortress was, came with this movie, with these movies. And because of course there's a bigger audience for movies than there are for comics, this became kind of like the go-to interpretation of what the fortress should look like. But in comics and TV, animated versions of Superman, it's been portrayed very differently. I like this fine. If I compare it to other versions of Krypton architecture, I'd have to say this is probably not the most realistic if you think about it, because I mean, how do you function in this environment? You know what I mean?
See, yeah, it doesn't look right.
It's, they're doing the best they could. It's one of those things of that they only had that old footage and they couldn't go back and reshoot anything, so they have to make it work.
Are you the old man?
As best they can. Obviously they could have gone back to the fortress and shot some of Hackman's stuff differently to match. But
I find it amazing to look back now at the Lester stuff and realize that when they show Hackman talking, and he's talking to the mother, but in actuality he's supposed to be talking to Jarrell. It's
right.
edited, so it seems that he's talking to her. That they were able to do that and convince us. See, this doesn't look right to me. It looks cheap.
It looks odd, out of place.
And since I'm so used to the other scene, of him talking to the mom,
a poem as lovely as a tree,
that stuff, and then doesn't the mother come up?
Well, what do you mean? In this?
No, in the Lester cut, isn't that when the mother comes up too? Is it the tree guy?
No, the mother comes up at the end, I think.
Okay.
It's been a little while.
See, his floating head here doesn't look too hot. I love it. I always call him the tree guy. I have no idea what his name is.
Villains. My kind of people.
See, I remember when he said, "Now this I want to hear." I remember that line from the Lester version, but it was in response to something else entirely.
The mother, I think, talks about it.
Okay. See, but
that's what you call criminals.
Even
and
though
I
it's
know that because I know about Earth culture.
See, even though it's with the mom, even though she shows up and not Jarrell,
yeah,
I'm so used to those scenes. I kind of miss them sometimes.
I know. That's what I mean. It's sense memory. It's not that this is better or worse. It's just damn not the same.
No.
And this stuff. Why?
Oh, why is he showing them?
Yeah, we shouldn't see this.
No.
It's and the way that they chose to try and degrade the footage so it looks like the projection or whatever doesn't look right. I can't put my finger on what it is, but yeah, it's just wrong, and we shouldn't see this. I mean, this is
What?
The images of the trio. Why would he have that on that crystal? That doesn't make any sense.
No.
And they didn't show that in the Lester cut yet. Nothing seems lost by it. So,
well, I don't think it was necessary. It's overkill. Mm-hmm. So what are we seeing right now? What is this?
I think it's just a visual callback to what happened. Oh well, no, look, we're being shown it.
Yeah. So is Lex is watching all of that?
Yeah, Lex is watching.
See, it's just too much.
That's what I'm saying.
It's tipping the hand too much. If this is what the story is going to be,
that's exactly it. It's tipping the hand.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
It's like we already know they're coming to Earth.
I mean, he's and the thing is he's going into great detail telling the story, and there's no reason to assume that these villains are going to suddenly be there.
Well, that does preface kind of Lex's motivation to team up with them.
See, he's talking like he knows they're coming. He has no idea.
Well, he doesn't know, but that does preface when they get there, and then he tracks them down.
Well, yeah, but
too true to be good.
He's making some really big leaps of assumption.
Toilet flushing.
Yeah, Miss Tessmopper, she went looking for the bathroom.
And she found one?
Yeah, and this is the last we see of her.
And there's a bathroom?
Apparently. See, they added that, and I don't think they needed to do that.
It doesn't make any sense. That's just one of those jokes that doesn't make any sense. Bathroom.
I know.
There isn't a bathroom in there. There's no toilet.
There really isn't.
Why would there be one?
Certainly not a conventional.
Superman doesn't go poo.
Well, you just dump it in the water. I mean,
it's the whole thing.
There's no plumbing system in the Arctic.
They let go, straight to the lawyer.
This is Lester.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is all Lester.
Yeah, they never got around.
Everything they did in Niagara Falls was all Lester. Well,
yes.
Yeah.
With the exception of the
insert scene we're going to have, right?
That's coming up.
The gunshot.
Yeah, this was all Lester. Now, this stuff was scripted. I don't know how much of the Mankiewicz script they were going off of when they shot this, but he did plan for them to go to Niagara Falls. I mean that's in the original stuff, when they refer to it. So I mean it was their plan.
Beating this poor kid. Yeah. Well, the kid's dumb anyway. It's not a very good mother.
He deserves to go.
Why is she taking a picture of the hot dog stand?
It's a good question.
She's standing by Niagara Falls and she's taking a picture of the hot dog stand. She's turned the wrong way.
She is.
It's like, well, I mean, she did say, Niagara
Although
Falls.
he's pointing that out, he's like, what?
Yeah, she's like, yeah, Niagara Falls leaves you cold, but still, it's like, why are you taking a picture of the hot dog stand?
Yeah.
Niagara Falls kind of leaves you cold. You know what I mean?
Him again, huh?
Ugh, I hate that.
One-track mind, don't I?
She only gets wet with Superman,
Yeah, I
not
know.
with Clark.
That is pretty impressive looking. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Freshly squeezed.
Freshly squeezed, yeah, I know. Look at that. Wow, man.
I mean, when it's so simple of a visual, it's like the Grand Canyon. All it is a hole in the ground. All this is a bunch of water falling over a cliff.
It is, but it's so much in the formation of it. And
Yeah.
it's impressive.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh my
couldn't see that
God.
coming.
He fell into a blue screen effect. Superman, we need your help.
He'd be in the water already.
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
Well, the kid would be dead. He'd be already down there. The kid falls for way too long.
That's what I'm saying. He's still falling.
He's still falling? He's still falling.
I mean, yeah, it's over now.
Okay, he's still falling. He's still falling. Oh, yeah, there's a line in here. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know.
What? No.
He must be Jewish.
He must be Jewish. Yeah, is it still there?
Yeah, it's actually more pronounced in this cut.
Oh, wait, let me see if it's the subtitles have it on.
What a
What a nice man.
man.
Of course
Of course
he's Jewish. I can't believe they kept that in there.
I know, really.
It's such a bad line.
You hear it more in this cut, which
I
is
never.
even more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I don't recall ever hearing it, but now in my adult years, yeah, I'm like, wow. Of course, I always heard, "What a nice man,"
Yeah.
but of course he's Jewish. That I never heard.
It is in the Donner or the Lester cut. It's a lot fainter, is the thing. I know he fell for an eternity.
Yeah.
It's Lois. It's Lois Lane. So long goodbye.
Get over yourself. You see him all the time.
Dun-dun-dun. I wish they just didn't always dress their villains in black.
Yeah, no, it is kind of tiring.
You think they would have done a change for Man of Steel and put them in a different color at least?
Well,
Would have been beige.
Man of Steel
Yes.
was not drenched in originality. So.
No, but still, they were still wearing all black. I mean, their uniforms were more complicated, but it's still all black, This is Planet Houston.
I don't think it was done as well
So
as
you're
it
telling me he
could.
doesn't know what water is?
They
Strange.
come from an ice planet.
No, it's strange surface. But they know what water is.
Yes, they would know what water
They eat
is.
and drink.
That's true.
That guy shows up. Doesn't he show up in the beginning of part 3, this guy?
Part 3.
Yeah.
No. Well,
Here's
I know who you're talking about. Maybe that is him.
I think it is the guy.
It might be.
Yeah.
It just might be. Now, here we are. Here's the famous
This is screen test
the
stuff.
screen test.
Where you see he's noticeably younger.
Thinner, the hair is different.
Well, he's just not as muscular.
Yeah.
He's softer in the face. He's younger looking. His hair's thicker, longer.
Yeah. I mean, it's a miracle it was shot the way it was.
It was it wasn't shot on cheap
I mean, this was
16
this was
millimeter or
pretty
something.
damn professionally done.
Yeah. Well, at this point, they were down to how many options at this point when they were doing this test footage. So they were like, we want our stuff to look good,
Yeah, and they
Gotta make
really
sure we
wanted
choose the
to
right
know
people.
what they were getting.
Yeah.
See, look, his hair is different from shot to shot right
Oh,
there.
it's much shorter.
Yeah.
Looks shorter.
Because he's doing these with different people.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, like that shot where it's just him, for example. They probably shot that, but then they would have to insert it into the shots with the actress that plays Lois in the other shots. You know?
Yeah.
And for the purpose of the test, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
They already found their Clark as far as they're concerned.
That in some way I don't seem to.
Who were the other people?
For Lois?
Yeah.
Stockard Channing
Right. Yeah.
was one. What's her name? Miss Scarlet.
Yeah.
Leslie Ann Warren.
Leslie Ann Warren.
Uh,
Because she was in that musical. When they show the clip of that musical, it's funny. I don't know why I kind of want to see the whole thing.
So do I, actually.
Because I remember them talking about like it didn't get very good reviews, and I was just like, why? It looks funny.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
I'd like to try it out.
Maybe it was just maybe the style of humor's changed, and now we think that stuff is funny.
It could be.
I don't know.
There, that's better. And get yourself a jacket with a van and some shoes.
So what do you think? I mean, is this insert a little too jarring for you?
You know, it's hard to say because I know what it is. I wonder if someone who didn't know any of the history were to see this, if they would even know, you know, if they would even pick up on it. I'd be curious.
Well, yeah. I mean, you show it to a kid, they probably wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't tell. No. But to an adult, you can clearly, there's continuity changes between the way he looks.
Well, obviously in his hair, but I mean, I wonder if they would be so observant to go, you know, was this shot like way before? This doesn't look like the rest of the movie. The lighting's different. You know, I wonder.
Maybe I just can't stand.
Why don't they have shots with him with longer hair? You know, when he's talking to her like now. I mean, why?
Because, well, if you notice, all those shots with the shorter hair are single shots with him.
Yeah.
So they obviously shot that part of the screen test, you know, on a given day. And then he probably shot multiple versions of this scene with other actresses in the 2 shots. And then the one that they did with her, he just happened to have longer hair. So, I mean, it's not like they were ever intending to do this, you know.
I looked over at that hot dog stand and you were gone. You weren't there. No.
Yeah, in the Lester cut, she jumps over into the river, right?
Right. That's what this is replacing.
Right. Well, yeah, and then his hand falls in the fire.
Right, yeah, it's actually
that's
2
another.
scenes.
That's 2 scenes.
They go out and they're walking along, and she starts talking.
Then does she jump over the thing? Bye, bye, baby. Is that what she says?
She makes the. Now this scene corrects what she did in Niagara Falls, because what she did in Niagara Falls was basically just do again what she did in the. Oh well, I should say what she did. She didn't do it in the beginning because the Lester cut didn't have it.
The shot's out of focus.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder if they tried to fix that.
I'm sure they did the best they could. Yeah, the Niagara Falls scene is essentially their version of the opening scene where she puts herself in jeopardy, counting on, you know, Clark to transform to Superman and save her. And in this scene, she's learned from her mistake, which I really like. She actually says in dialogue, you know, when I threw myself out the window, basically, I was risking my life to prove my theory, and that was kind of silly. I should risk yours because I'm that sure. And in the Lester cut, she does that same thing. She puts herself in jeopardy, and Clark, you know, secretly saves her. But she then she doesn't really learn anything from it. It's just the fluke of Clark tripping into on the rug and putting his hand in the fire, you know. So I actually like that we get a payoff in this version to what she did earlier on, that she learned and made a better attempt to, you know, discover his identity or get him to expose it.
Yeah.
This scene is also cut down.
It's a good scene. I wish it would have been actually shot, you know, for the film, so it looks in continuity with the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Because I do prefer it, you know. Tonally, it works better.
Of course, yeah. No, I agree. It's a shame. This is Lester.
Yeah, you always tell by Margot Kidder.
She's the giveaway.
Yeah.
And if you're really observant, you can tell by the lighting. But she's a dead giveaway.
So they're already flying to the fortress. I feel like this is.
She'd be freezing, by the way.
Yeah, she would be.
Unless he's extending his
heat.
His heat.
His body heat. Well, I mean, he's extending some form of gravity because she's
That's
not
true.
drooping
So
over.
why couldn't he be extending his heat to her? I guess so. Although they're in here, so she's got to be freezing. I mean, at least they say it. I should be cold, but I'm not. You know.
Oh, she does say that?
Well, she does in the Lester cut. I actually don't know if she says it here.
I wanted you to see it.
I feel like there's more.
Oh, here he is. Yeah. I should be cold.
Yeah. Okay. Should be freezing. I feel like there's more leading up to it in the Lester cut. Like there's something.
Well, they have the whole souffle scene.
Souffle.
Remember? They sit down and they have dinner.
In the fortress?
Yeah.
No. I meant before they went to the fortress. I feel like they rushed to the fortress. Like there was something before that.
Well, in the Donner cut.
Oh man, this is still there. I forgot.
Yeah. Well, in the Lester cut, they talk in the hotel a long time about.
Okay.
The discovery of him.
Well, at least they cut out all that wide selection bullshit.
Yeah, they
cut out all that
They
dialogue.
used as little of this as humanly possible.
Okay.
Just to tell the story.
What do they still spend all the time in the town?
They'd spend the time, but it's not as much.
Okay, because that stuff is just
It's bad.
yeah, it's not bad. It's just not.
It's
great.
poorly conceived. You and I had the same beef when
I don't
they
know why
fought
people
in-
thought this guy was funny because he's in the Bond movies too.
He's in 2 of them. Yeah.
Well, is it in more than 2?
No, he's in 2 of Roger Moore's. He's in Live and Let Die, and then he's in The Man with the Golden Gun.
Okay,
And he was funny in The Man with the Golden Gun.
not really.
He was only in it for a couple minutes, but he was kind of funny. I think they got it right with him there. But yeah, here it was just a little too much.
You could always tell the way he was holding that was just not right.
Right,
Like it was
yeah.
already supported by wires.
Yeah, because they didn't want it to jerk when it flies away.
Yeah. Did that initially happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm always thinking that there's something different.
Oh no, here's the dinner scene.
And they cut up
It
that
seems like
scene.
they're cutting it differently.
Yeah.
I wish I had rewatched, say, the Lester version ahead of time. But yeah, it's.
I mean, we're
planned
not getting exactly what we would
Look
have
at those
got.
green steps. I
Yeah.
never noticed that before.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, how did I never see that?
The green accents.
Yeah.
This is all. Yeah, this is Lester. We're not getting exactly what Lester would have given us back in 77, 78. We're getting what Lester gave us in 2005 or whatever. I mean, because didn't he supervise this? I mean, he was like, I cut it this way, I cut it that way. Isn't that
Lester?
Oh, I mean, sorry, Donner. I keep saying Lester. Donner. We're getting what Donner would have done, not what he would have done when he originally shot the movie and then edited it back then.
Well, exactly.
This is coming 20 years, 25 years after the fact. So he's a different filmmaker now.
Well, yeah.
His mindset's
so like
different.
take for example the scene with the joke in NASA, the curl and the high school joke. He obviously shot it, and maybe he would have edited it differently at the time than he did now. For whatever reason, he removed it now. Mm-hmm. And Donner talked about how it's hard for him to watch some of the editorial choices he made in this because it was a long time ago. It was 30 years ago. He's a different filmmaker now, and he's older, so different things strike him. And
well, you know how they usually say, your first instinct is the best.
Yeah.
So with hindsight, you go back and tinker with something. You
got to be careful.
It's like Lucas.
I was going to say that there's your shining example of what not to do. Sometimes less is more. Don't overthink it. Don't overcook it.
So they cut out all this stuff with a kid, right? Please put my daddy down. And they cut all that stuff out.
I think so. Well, like here, we've skipped everything that was in the bar where she arm wrestles the guy.
Right.
All that's gone. See, this is what I mean. It's just down to the essentials to tell the story. Nothing frivolous.
He just fell. He was catapulted
Didn't
out
even
of there.
try to hold on.
No. Yeah, see, all this stuff is just very.
It's just the fact that it's taking place in this little podunk town.
Yeah.
That's what hurts it. Why? It looks so small. You and I had the same conversation about the scene in Man of Steel when they fight in Smallville. It just
when they fight in the
small.
friggin' IHOP.
Yeah,
it's like oh my
what
god!
What were you thinking?
In the International House of Pancakes.
I know.
You can't come up with something better than that.
It's just wrong.
Sheesh.
Why doesn't he
Where's Superman? Where is he? I hate that.
Why doesn't he do something?
What doesn't he do? We're too incompetent. We can't handle it.
We have a whole country of resources at our disposal.
I hate that. It's like Commissioner Gordon. In Tim Burton's Batman movies.
Oh, I know. He's utterly.
He's so
useless.
incompetent. Thank you for saving the city, Batman. Thank you so much. I can't do my job.
Yeah.
It's like I depend on you. You're the police force. We might as well not even have any police officers. It's just so ridiculous.
Blow them a kiss. I like that. Blow them a kiss.
Yeah, it's fine. Looked like he was waving back at them.
He's like, no, stop, no. I don't want your kiss. I'm married.
For model, that's a model. I mean,
That's a model.
That looks pretty good.
It's all right.
Not bad.
At least it's real.
I always win. Good stuff. Glad they kept it in. So that
Why
guy's
would
still
he wanna
there
be
filming.
challenged?
Well,
That's
that guy's. Oh, what? I never liked this.
What, them in bed?
No. I don't mind seeing them post coitus, but this bed.
Oh, I know they have the beds.
It's funky. It's like a giant space balloon.
It doesn't
or
look
something.
very comfortable.
Well, no.
Chilling watching a movie, maybe, but I couldn't.
It's like a
sleep
giant
very well.
beanbag. Like, dude,
That's what it is.
seriously, you got a real bed? Like, seriously, are we always gonna like fuck on this? What's the
This
deal?
is different.
What?
This dialogue.
Oh.
Yorula. See that this was not used in Lester's cut. At least they found different footage, and were able to craft his performance in a way they liked.
Yeah, see, he's going over this like your lives will be in tribute to me, and it's like you're talking to like 20 people. You know, it'd make more sense if he was talking to a city, you know, or something like that. But he's just talking to these what's the word I'm looking for? Hillbillies.
Hillbillies.
Yeah. I answer only to the president.
This guy's recording was different. They used a different voice.
Yeah, they ADR'd him differently.
They redubbed him.
Oh, okay. Well, he was clearly dubbed in the other version.
Yeah, now he's.
What?
I think they actually used his
They didn't
real
need to do
voice.
that. What?
And
That
it
looked
looks-
too fake.
And it looks bad.
Well, how did that even fall down? They didn't show any. They didn't even show anything.
Imagine what they'll do to the world if we
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't show them like with their heat vision doing
Yeah,
anything.
I
It just fell over.
Well, thank God they didn't use the changing faces of the Mount Rushmore.
That was dumb. That's lame.
Oh, I know, it was awful.
I can't believe that it even stayed in any version of the movie. What the hell is this? She's wearing a Soups shirt?
Yeah, why not?
So is that actually his Superman shirt?
I don't know.
Or is that like his PJs?
I've wondered about that because
that clearly wouldn't fit him.
No, it wouldn't. But goddamn, does she?
She
look
looks
good
hot
in
in that.
God,
She does.
That is
Yeah.
wicked hot.
It's kind of a turn on right there.
It is.
Yeah.
Which I have developed.
Where did he get that outfit, by the way?
Yeah, where did it come?
He flew there in the Superman suit.
Well, he's got a toilet in there. Maybe he's got a dresser in the back.
God, I love seeing her in the socks and the shirt like that. Yummy.
Yeah, it's probably you've probably dressed some girlfriends like that in the past, haven't you?
No comment.
Put this on, please, just for a minute.
Yeah, that's right next to the slave Leia outfit.
Sure. Yeah.
By abandoning the weak, the defenseless, the needy.
See, yeah, this is when in the Lester cut, isn't it? When she's like, you will feel like an ordinary man. Isn't that what's supposed to be
he's
going
being
on
a
here?
lot more.
This is a different take of him too, isn't it?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
This is a whole different
Conversation.
what they had in Superman 2 was essentially a new conversation. They reshot him and shot Susanna York. Jor-El in this is being extremely disapproving. You know, he just told him he was selfish. And Superman was like, "What? F you, man. What have I been doing this whole time? You know, I deserve to be happy. I want to do what I want to do."
So much stronger.
And this scene is very much connected to the theme that Mankiewicz was designing for these two movies, which was a father-son relationship. And this is the adolescence.
All right.
This
God
is where
and Jesus.
No. This is the teenager period.
Okay.
Where he rebels against the father, and to his detriment, and the father has to save him. You know, these are all connected. You know, he does it in Superman 1. He defies Jor-El and reverses time and saves Lois, and he goes, you know, even further in this part. And then coming up here, this is the shot I was telling you. You're going to see it clear as day. When he goes to walk in to the unit to have his powers taken away, it looks like Gerard Christopher from Superboy.
Okay.
I mean, they clearly shot it for this. You know, it's added footage, like shot today.
Once exposed to them, all your great powers on earth.
Why would Jor-El have a place? You know, why would he point out a place where he could lose his powers like that? You know,
I
if
don't
he's so
know.
against it, you know, why would he set it up for him? It's like, okay, well, I made this just in case, but you shouldn't use it.
Yeah,
but I made it anyway.
Don't think about it too much. It doesn't
Okay.
actually add up. You're right.
I beg you.
Father?
Well, what do you think? I mean, what do you think of this exchange here? Do you like it?
I think the dialogue in this was much better
You do, really?
because it connected to what Mankiewicz was doing.
It does have a...
I like seeing him fly.
So
in his
that is nice.
Regular
Right.
outfit.
This is good.
The look.
The look, even
coming.
though... Like,
Wait.
I... What?
Wait, is this it?
Here it is.
It should be coming.
It should be coming right here. It's coming. It's coming. We're building it up. It's coming. I think
I think it's when the lights are on. Maybe it's that. Wait,
yeah.
wait.
No.
Is
Yeah.
this it?
No, you're right.
Yeah. Look at that.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's clearly.
It's like,
not
who is
him.
that? Who is that guy?
Yeah. They got to blurt it up a little bit more.
Yeah, they should have. It's a miracle.
Yeah.
But they were probably not watching it on a big screen either. They obviously hadn't shot this, and they needed it to tell the scene. Here comes one of our favorite parts.
What?
The look.
Oh, it's still coming up. We kind of climaxed too early with that. We said it too early. Well, yeah, this just points out, you know, him looking, Jarrell looking at him and everything, and him eventually looking up at her.
See, look at this. I mean, wow.
Yeah,
He like damn near looks dead in camera.
there we go.
Look at that. Oh, you bitch.
And she walks
she kind
away.
Of gets nervous.
Yeah, no, that whole thing kind of. I just have a big problem with how conscious Jarrell is. Like,
yeah, I know.
I had a big problem with that in Man of Steel, where he's walking around the ship.
He was even more conscious.
He was alive. He was practically there. It's
Yeah.
just too much. You can't trap somebody's essence that well, can you? I mean, it's basically like they did.
It's like he didn't die.
This sequence,
This had a number of extra bits to it.
This when he pulls up the
machine gun.
The machine gun is fun.
That was good. I'm amazed they left that out of the Lester cut.
Mm-hmm.
So it really says something about his character, and that their choices of shots in this were different.
Do you think they could have just skipped that whole Houston scene altogether and just had them go right to the White House?
I don't know. Maybe.
See, this is cool. Just standing
He's
back.
just chilling. That's Zod's style. Let everyone else do the work.
Yeah.
That's why when he said earlier when they were in Houston, when he said, is there anyone to even challenge me? He doesn't. Why? He doesn't want you to challenge him. He doesn't want to fight. He just wants to take over, period. That's so delicious.
See, that is just great. Why they decided not to keep that, I don't know.
I know, it's amazing.
Obviously, Lester, the editor they had, didn't like it for some reason. I
And
don't
he
know why.
sold it. He just so sold it.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah,
You think, with someone with superhuman strength, that breaks bones.
Oh, yeah.
That would break his face.
He's done. He's done. It's over, man. Game over.
Why don't you put her in charge?
Well, what do you think about the, what do you call this? With the guy faking to be the president. What?
I like it.
The ruse.
I like it. I like it.
And I like that Zod picks up on it. He's like, no, you're not the guy. He doesn't have to know. He doesn't have to have seen video or whatever. He just knows that no ruler would do that.
No, I like it. They don't draw attention to the actual guy. He's just kind of standing.
Hey, see that guy on the right?
Yeah, he's in Star Wars.
Yeah. I forget who he is.
Because I listened to your commentary. You pointed that out. And I was like, oh, yeah, right, yeah.
That's funny.
You are not the president.
And of course, we didn't actually see the president.
Did they put
in the
makeup
earlier.
on his face? He
Zod?
looks pale.
Yeah, it looks like they did to make him look a little washed out.
Okay. Oh, yeah, he's the guy who says, enemy fighters on your way. Or
Yeah, I
something
think
like
so.
that. Yeah.
I think so.
That's
Yeah.
how he just have a character name. Something like that.
I mean, what an awesome claim to fame, man. He's been in Superman and Star Wars.
Where the men wear the ribbons and the jewelry.
She's like, what pretty decorations.
I do like the way they set up this scene, the way they entered it, where these guys weren't in a scramble with handguns or anything like that.
Well, they already did that part once they came in.
Well, no, they were just all like, "All right, they got us.
Let's be dignified. Stand up and
that's cool." And I mean, they didn't. Who
is this imbecile? Where is he?
And they didn't show that beforehand. They didn't show the president saying, "Okay, they got us. Let's just stand tall."
Like in X-Men 2, where the Secret Service comes in. Mr. President, let's get out of here.
Well, that scene kicks ass.
Oh, it does.
that's one of the best.
That's a different way to do it.
That's one of the best opening scenes in the last 10 years.
Oh, hell yeah, that was an excellent scene.
Aside from the Watchmen credit sequence.
I know.
You know? But that's a great opening scene.
I didn't do it for you, Lois. I did it for
There he is. There's the man.
There's Donner
walking across the screen.
When I see, that scene with the president there and, him kneeling, saying, I'll kneel if it saves lives.
Oh, wait, sorry, what?
I can't help but think about there's a scene in the TV show Stargate, SG-1, when the president is being briefed. He just got elected, and he's being briefed on, the existence of aliens and the Stargate and all this and that. And at that time, a Gould attack ship comes in, and they basically send a transmission into the very room where he's being briefed. So, it's like they're in the same room together. And the alien guy goes, and William Devane is the president. He's awesome, William Devane. And the Gould guy goes, you will bow to me, and you, the leader of this world, especially will bow to me. And William Devane just kind of laughs at him and goes, never gonna happen. I just love his attitude. He's like, you may kick our ass, but I ain't ever gonna need you. I like that.
In the previous scene there, when it showed him driving up to this place, not when you see Richard Donner, but when it shows them on the snowscape kind of driving through town. That was cut down because there was a dialogue there going where she was like, I can't believe. He's like, what's the matter with you? And she says, I can't believe you gave that all up for me, but I want to be with you.
Yeah.
And they cut that out.
Well, that's because it makes her already look like a bitch.
It does. And
I think she looks really good in this scene.
She does.
That outfit suits her.
It does. But I wish they hadn't gone here. I mean, they just go to this little tiny diner. It's just
they're just working their way back.
It's small, like the Houston stuff.
I know.
I don't like it. And do they keep the same line in here? I want the man I fell in love with. Do they keep the same line?
Pretty sure. I think that happens right here. In fact,
I think so.
I think maybe
the bodyguard. Here we go.
Yeah, I want the man I fell in love with.
They should have cut that. Doesn't make her look very good.
Nope. Obviously, Donner doesn't read that line the same way we do because he kept it in.
Well, we've had 30 years to form our opinion of Lois.
See, I wish he just would have gone over there and just punched him instead of standing there like that.
Yeah.
Because he was so pissed.
With the hair.
It's he's too gentlemanly. That's why.
Well, he's used to just imposing on people like that. And
This is cool though. She jumps on him.
I don't like your meat anyway. Oh, God.
Poor Clark.
Clark? Clark, can you get up? Come on. All right, come on.
Yeah, as I was telling Justin though, this whole scene in the diner, it's not bad. It's just too small. It's Houston stuff, And this part right here, look, they turn on the box. He says, like, I'm going to turn on the box. And it's this message right here, where, watch, it's the president. Like, oh, the country's been taken over. So they know already that it's bad news. That there's stuff going on in the country. That Zod is loose with his two right-hand man, his right-hand woman, and they're out creating havoc in the country. And they can't find Superman. It's a nation in crisis. It's turmoil. It's akin to, this is like nuclear war is abound, and everyone is still going to work, going to diners like this, hanging out. And I'm like, no, there would be mass paranoia. I don't think so. And look, he's going to turn off the TV. They're just all going to go about their business. I'm like, no, I don't think so. The same thing happens in a lot of movies. It happens in Man of Steel when after Zod has made his announcement, you are not alone. When he makes that announcement to the planet and even the ships come down, it's the same thing. Everyone just keeps going about their business, going to the IHOP, going to the 7-Eleven. It's like, I don't think so. There'd be mass panic, paranoia. People would be fleeing for the hills. They wouldn't be still strutting around town going to work. They'd be freaked the fuck out. They would get the fuck out of Dodge is my point. They would not stay. They would not stay.
I just didn't listen.
See, now he's got to go back, And I don't know if it's been cut differently. I really don't know. It feels like it has. I don't remember them cutting to that scene like that. And here's the problem with anyone who gets into a position of power. You get bored really quickly because there's no more worlds to conquer. Everything's done. So I guess having them being seen in the Fortress of Solitude, these three, having them being seen by Hackman, I guess instilled in his mind that he needed to find them. And I guess that sets up this scene a little bit better. But as Justin pointed out, we really don't, he really didn't know that they were even coming to Earth. He was just basically warned that they were criminals and they're dangerous, but why would Jor-El even mention that? He's like, in his mind, they're still in the Phantom Zone, and they're going to be in the Phantom Zone forever. Why would he even think they're going to escape? And I mean, and how many prisoners do they put in the Phantom Zone? Why would he reference these three? I'm like, surely they've sent others there. So, what's the point? And I never had a problem with this aspect of the scene, him wanting to get Australia. Never really bothered me when I was younger, but now that I watch it older, it seems a bit of a retread, that he just always wants land, I mean, he even mentions in dialogue, I have a an affinity for beachfront property. I think that's what he says. And that's funny, they acknowledged it, but it's like, still, really, he's hung up on land, and he just wants Australia. I'm like, all right, so that's why he's working with him. Seems a bit flat, not a great motivator to get him to go along with this. I figured that Lex would be smarter than that and a little bit more sneaky. His real plans would be to pull the wool over their eyes, not to go along with him just so we can get a piece of Australia, 'cause he's Lex, he's the ultimate mastermind, that's who he is, that's that character. Maybe not so in these films, but you would think that, see, this is good right here. He's playing, he's like, hey, I've got an ace up my sleeve. And this is the only time you see the way the shot is set up. The frame is set up. I forget the technical term, but he's in the forefront, so his image is larger, so he's put in a position of power. And this is the only time you see Zod in a less position, where he's the one coming to him, not on his knees, but metaphorically. He's like, "What do you want?" And now he walks all the way back.
He walked his way to the Antarctic.
Yeah.
And so far into it that, of course, it couldn't be found, so that's really quite a trek.
I'm glad I'm here on this commentary now because I can point out something.
What's that?
Why does this truck not stop?
Oh, I know. This guy, I mean, how big of a douchebag is this truck driver? I mean...
he would be like, holy shit, there's somebody on the side of the road. I got to pick him up. This guy's in trouble.
I mean, this isn't the city where you can't pick up a hitchhiker. I mean...
They're out in the middle of nowhere.
Not out there to attract people to kill.
Yeah,
he's obviously
out there in the middle of a blizzard to cut him some slack.
Yeah, that's not cool, man.
Yeah, Yeah, well, I'm glad we could point that out.
Even a lady truck driver would have stopped for a guy to help him because she'd be like, "Oh my God, you're out here."
That is always if Large Marge was out there, she'd pick him up.
Yeah,
that's always bothered me. All right, now that that's said and done,
this is also a different, completely different scene. They reshot it for the Lester cut.
Oh, they did.
Mm-hmm. This is the scene where Jarrell comes back and now has to fix the mistake that Clark made that he told him not to do. And now Clark is basically here, tail between his legs, saying, "I screwed up, Dad, help me." Clearly wearing a wig, mind you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And in the original version, the Lester version, he goes back there and he just kind of finds the crystal, and you don't know too much about it.
No, he just comes back, he screams "Father," and then he sees the crystal chilling out on the ground.
Yeah,
right?
which him screaming "Father" in that version didn't make any sense because
here it makes more sense.
Well, of course,
Father.
here, but back then I don't even know why they kept it in the Lester cut. Because in the Lester cut he wasn't dueling against his father. In this one he was. So this is the theme that Mankiewicz had been threading throughout the stories that finally kind of culminates.
Why is he wearing a wig?
I don't know.
I mean, if this was all Donner stuff.
Well, I mean, we know they shot these things really out of sequence. Where are those bars? Are those supposed to be the? Oh, that was that inserted footage?
It looked a little odd, didn't it?
It did. That looked like PVC pipe in there, although it's kind of there right now.
Well, the crystal looked a little odd, but I don't know.
That it did look odd. It looked a little too clear. I think that was an insert, shot today. This is a little more like the original.
Yeah, well, in that it makes no sense.
No, the face.
I know. But there was just some visuals in there that remember. The crystal face that just
you're like, well,
why is that there? And they don't address it ever. So what do you think? I mean, do you think this plays a lot better?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It plays on multiple levels, emotional levels. It makes a lot more sense. The circle is now complete. You have made a dreadful mistake, Kal-El. The son becomes the father, and the father becomes the son. That whole thing, In spite of all I could say. Rub it in, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dad.
Jesus.
Jeez.
Now you've returned to me for one last chance to redeem yourself. This too
I have anticipated. He's a little too sentient.
A little too much.
Look at me.
At least he's not walking around, although he does a little bit here.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he comes out, don't you remember? And physically touches him.
While giving you a chance for life. And now, even though it...
I mean, what do you think about Jarrell being so locked into that one ideal,
What's that?
Where, you can't give up your powers for this woman. You can't get involved with them. You can't do that. And basically, he chastises him for it. It's. I mean, he's just so. And he doesn't want his son to be happy emotionally. I mean, why?
I don't know. That's a good point. Why didn't he make...
I mean, why does he have to be a savior? Couldn't he just say, yeah, you can be human if you want? I mean, if that's what makes you happy, that's cool.
Either that or...
Don't you think that's what a father would say?
Or why couldn't he just say, do you have to go with the powers? Just be with her in general. Don't use the powers.
Well, I mean, shit. I mean...
Here we go. See, this is where he...
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not like Clark chose this life for himself. His father sent him here.
That's
true.
He
didn't have a choice.
All he wants to do is fully assimilate and be everybody else.
I mean, can he just say, hey, you can be human if you want, and you can live amongst them?
He doesn't want the responsibility. He just wants to be. And
well, this is interesting. Yeah.
It's a little awkward because they used what they had, but I still think it was far more emotional than
the
Lester version.
It is. It does emotionally. It's much more powerful.
Even if it was slightly awkward in the way that they had things put together, but I mean, given what they probably had to work with, I mean, I think that they did as good a job as they could, especially given the resources and money they had.
Yeah. No, there's 3 of them.
Is this when Zod and crew is going to come in?
Yep.
Okay. Are we in Donna or I can't see her. Are we in Donna or Lester footage?
This is Lester.
Okay. Oh yeah, definitely.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's Lester, and I mean it's Donner pretty much until they go outside to fight.
You mean Lester? Because you just said Donner.
No,
that was Lester right there.
No, well, no, it wasn't.
Oh, that was Donner?
Yeah, look, this is all Donner. I'm pretty sure it's mostly Donner stuff until Superman shows up, because at that point, Gene Hackman is there, and we know that's Donner footage. There might be 1 or 2 insert shots of Lois holding Perry, but I think that's pretty much it.
Do you think that Zod would be the kind of guy that would seek out Superman? I mean, would it be more his style to I'm gonna let him come to me? I always like that sound of when it hits his head.
Yeah.
You know?
This probably hurt.
I don't.
It doesn't look like it hurt there, but I mean, reality, he put his head through the roof.
Well, those ceilings aren't. I mean, that kind of ceiling isn't very hard. You know that they're.
Well,
anyway.
maybe I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
This is really Gene Hackman's hair, right? At some point, he just you know what, guys? For Superman 2, that footage, I am just gonna do my normal hair.
Is Jimmy really that? Nah. Well, I guess he is that kind of. He is kind of that dumb. He does it all the time. Climbs up that ladder in Superman 3 to get more shots, and then he climbs down the
White House. Clean it for months. That was an ad. That was a extra bit. The stuff with Jimmy.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, I don't remember those shots.
Yeah.
Again, it's sense memory. It just feels different. I'm just like, wait a minute, that's different.
What was I saying?
What I've given you.
Oh yeah, you know that line about the White House. You'll be cleaning for months. That's Mankiewicz. He's got a way that he writes. You can really spot his writing, and his characterization of Lex Luthor. It has a very unique voice, like how he's constantly referring to Zod as some sort of euphemism or something, where he's like, yes, your fullness, yes, your wonderfulness, it's yes, your prince. It's always something different.
Don't you remember the White House, the Oval Room? We had a few laughs there. You gotta have that fixed.
See, look, that's.
How did they get that candid shot of, I don't know, Zod just chilling back like that?
Yeah, but you saw that line where he said, that you should get that fixed. That's an added line.
This looks. Yeah, because initially
they use different footage.
Yeah, they show him flying up to it. I remember that shot.
The footage different, the timing's different.
Yeah.
This is. Yeah, it's better. It plays better in Lester's cut. Pretty much here we are into Lester.
This is all Lester stuff.
Yeah.
And in London, right? It has that feel, right? It's like in big London studio.
So was the original.
Yeah, but this scene in particular, very indoors set-like.
That's what it is. When they're in the planet, it's different because they're in a building.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, now they're supposed to be exterior, but it's obviously just a set.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as bad as like when you watch Batman Returns.
Yeah, no.
Right. Like in Gotham, it's like
it's very small. And
yeah,
you see the same building over and over.
So this is cut differently, and is it trimmed? They must trim out a lot of that comedic stuff. That's
all the comedic stuff is trimmed, but that they added footage too. like with the Statue of Liberty when we get that, for example.
Oh yeah, he gets tossed into the torch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that they tweak it a little bit, mess with it.
See, this is something I was mentioning to you when you were away for a few moments. The fact that everyone just is standing around going about their business still.
Right.
And they've been like that. So that guy's eating popcorn. But, they're standing around going about their business, even though they know that they have this.
Here we go.
Yeah, this is new stuff.
Additional.
They have this madman on the loose with superhuman powers.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like,
look at that. Look how weird that looks.
It does look weird. They would be running for the hills. Society would collapse if
someone like this was marching
took over
around.
the government. People would not be going to work. They would not be walking through the street.
Well, the thing
it's
is,
the same thing happened. This is what I said. The same thing happened in Man of Steel. Zod came down in his big ships, threatened the world, and people are still going about their day. I'm like, no, they would not still go to the IHOP. No, they would be running.
Well, the thing is Zod and company are just 3 people.
Yeah, but they have superhuman strength, and they took over the White House. And the president was on the news saying, we throw in the towel. Zod runs the country. I thought that was good.
Hey, that's the Chiefs. Chiefs got it. That is Mankiewicz. That is so fucking brilliant. And Hackman knows how to deliver that dialogue perfectly.
Oh, that's new. What, you hit a woman?
Yeah.
That's would have been cool if he did hit her though.
He should have.
He'd be like, yeah.
He hits her in Man of Steel. Finally, we've graduated where a man can hit a woman, when she's threatening people. They sped that up.
Oh, wait. Where's the woman? Oh, there she is.
But they sped up the fall of that tower.
I was like, where's the woman? My baby.
To accentuate the threat.
I guess it works a little better.
It does.
Because it makes sense that because before
she
had plenty of time to move. Now it seems like it didn't.
Quick.
No.
I've discovered his weakness.
Yes.
It counts.
Always thought that shot looked funny. When you see the tower just going up, it just looks funny.
And they're just watching. I mean,
yeah. I'll buy a cheap backdrop. Why would he do this?
Yeah, that's not really safe because he
has to get up and it's going to knock it over again. Why would he do that? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that? It just all looks like too much of an indoor.
Oh, yeah. It looks exactly like what it is.
Yeah, I know it's not very dynamic, but at least it's real.
Yeah, at least it's, yeah.
I mean, watching him fight in Man of Steel, it was a lot of CG mixed in there, and it was too chaotic.
Mm-hmm. See, now, what I would be curious about is, because the way that we shoot and edit movies today is different than the way they were done, in the late 70s. And I would be curious if you took a modern day editor and transported him back to this time, so they would have to use the effects of the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And had a modern day action editor tackle a scene like this and working with the director saying, no, let's do this, and they'd be constrained by the effects of the time, but I wonder how a scene like this would be different were a modern day director or editor be a consultant at the time this is shot.
Be much more punchy.
I would think so because the reason I'm thinking this is because of Man of Steel when they fought in Smallville. How sure, that is probably how it would be if people with the powers of Superman were fighting, but as a viewer, it's just not interesting. It gets to be too much of a good thing,
Kentucky Fried Chicken. Sorry, the Kentucky Fried Chicken box.
No,
they cut out that line though.
What? Oh, you'll pay.
You'll pay for it.
Of course.
That was good. At least they cut that out. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't they have CG'd this stuff out with the Marlboro
I'm sure
logo?
if they were given the budget, they would have.
It's too much. Sorry, but yeah, that's a good point, Justin. When you look at
I'm surprised they kept that.
The laugh. Yeah. The Coke thing. Flying the Coke sign.
That is in no way product placement.
Sulkins have an affinity for Coke. You know, Coke ends up...
they're a big company. Got a lot of money from
That's
them.
true. Never thought I'd see this thing go the distance. I like that line. I use that often.
I think the Chief line was better.
No, I mean that line often is whenever I think I'm gonna fail or something. I never thought this would go the distance.
Yeah.
But no, that's
just on that same token, when once in a while, if I'm going through my house at night, shutting all the lights off to go to bed or something, I'll do 385 out.
Jesus Christ! And then you run down the hall, you rip your shirt open, and you try to fly.
Of course I do. Many times.
Do you say lights out, Luther? Do you say that too when the light goes off finally or something?
I'm sure I have. Okay.
But I think movies today are definitely there's a lot more cuts. So there's
a lot more cuts.
The takes are a lot longer in these older movies. So
but I just think they would have had them punching each other more, and you could put the guys on wires and have him punch Zod and have him go flying across the street, crashing into something. You could have done that with the effects possible at this day. They just, these were action sequences that had never been done before. How do you have these superpowered people fight? Mm-hmm. And we've just become more accepting of what that might look like.
I like seeing that black dude with the club.
He's like, going down, cracker.
That's cool.
You in my hood now.
He's like, I mean business. I was like, all right. So it's cool. I mean, I wish they would have been done away in a less comedic way.
Yeah,
being blown away
and
like
even though
this.
It wasn't. Yeah, especially because of that. I like the idea
of the townspeople coming together.
Yeah, like once they think Superman's been done in, then they stand up and do something.
Yeah. See, what's cut out is the whole guy with the pie in the face, and the guy on the phone, and the hair, the wig that you pay, and then the guy in the skates.
Yeah.
Like that's gone. Which is, thank God. Sheesh. Like that guy.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. It's such a contained area.
Like that guy would still be standing there with that sign, that said, "The end of the world is." Oh, that's the guy in the skates. I thought it was gone.
They needed it for the show.
Yeah, but if that guy with the sign that said, "The end of the world is near," what else would be on it?
That insert shot.
Oh, that sign would say, "Told you so." That's what he would put on there. It's like, yes, I told you.
Why did they do that insert? We didn't need that.
Nope.
And it looks so out of place.
Something that I guess Donner requested, I guess. Just like Lucas requested an extra scene in Empire to explain how Vader got back on the ship. At the end, it's like, I think we figured it out. He got up there. He took a ship back up there. What do we think? He beamed up there? It's like, no. We can assume that he did. Jeez. Superman flees.
Superman fled?
I don't believe you.
So, he is a coward after all.
He is a coward after all. It must have been really cold.
Yeah.
But why? They're in a set.
Good point.
I don't understand.
Well, it's a big sound stage.
So they cut out the phony. Nope. I can't believe they did that.
Kind of like in Superman 3, that line that you didn't like. When after drunk Superman had been around for a while.
Oh.
And then one guy goes, "Yeah, we'll never trust him again," or something. And you're like, "Well, that was awfully fast."
Yeah, jeez.
They turned on him pretty quick.
Guy has a bad day. God
I know.
damn.
One bad day. For all we know, he got dumped by his girlfriend, and he's just pissed off.
Jeez.
I think a lot of this is
different takes.
Yeah, different takes than what we were used to.
Superman fled. I don't believe.
Yeah, so that was shot differently.
Yeah.
3 against 1. You should have taken 2 ears and a tail.
2 ears and a tail. Yeah, he's giving him shit.
You made a good point, though, that Superman did leave, and he doesn't know what's going on right now. I mean, they could be destroying the city even more.
Yeah, because he
doesn't know.
He was losing, but he still had fight left in him, and he did just abandon them.
Mm-hmm. That kind of stuff closes out of town. I mean, he's going on the assumption that he's going to be followed.
Yes,
which is a good assumption.
And he is, given that they were looking for him. But like,
it's like Kirk, kind of aggravates Khan, in the end of Star Trek 2. Like, Khan, I'm laughing at your superior intellect, and he's like, I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna chase me now.
Of course,
just like Superman has that same feeling. Like, I know Zod's gonna come after me, but he doesn't know for sure.
Fullest one.
He doesn't have that same, past with Zod that Kirk had with Khan.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't know his personality as well.
Mm-hmm. But you're right, though. I mean, they could have hung around doing anything for a good long while, and he's not there to stop them.
Isn't this added dialogue too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it the scene devoid of dialogue in the Lester cut?
Yeah.
It's just the music.
Yeah.
Isn't that what the music is? Yeah. And he's made to look a lot dumb,
more sinister.
Well, yeah, not dumb.
Yeah,
as in the other
he's
one.
not terribly bright still in this version, but he's not comedically stupid.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a big dumb mute.
So you think they'd be cold? Because they certainly wouldn't be transferring their body heat. They wouldn't care. I guess they want them to live.
What, to her?
To this point.
Oh, to that? Well, it's probably just a byproduct of being on their bodies.
It's
probably not even a choice.
See, wouldn't they just get rid of
Luther?
Well, no, yeah, they don't need him now.
Oh, no, of course not.
Once they got there, they'd just be like, all right, you're dead.
Zod would have, just offed him in a second. Rip his heart out.
Yeah.
Son of a coward!
Son of a coward!
Yeah, so, Superman would be going on the assumption that Luther would tell them where he is.
Mm-hmm.
And does Luther even know? Does he even know that Luther knows? Does he know?
That's a really good point.
How does
he doesn't
know?
know. He doesn't know that Luther's been here.
Yeah, how does he know?
He doesn't.
Yeah, doesn't make any,
you're right.
He
has absolutely no idea.
The death of others means more to you than your own.
Sounds like a plot hole to me.
It really is. I never thought about that, but you're right. He left there assuming they'd follow him, but they could only follow him based on knowing where it is. And I mean, if it wasn't for Luther, they wouldn't have found him.
Then others will pay for your obstinate attitude. Innocent people, millions if necessary.
This is all extra dialogue.
Don't, Superman, don't! Stop
it! Unfortunately, I feel the scene plays better in the Lester cut.
Really?
Especially the final moment of lifting him up.
Do they still use in this version, the confrontation between all four of them, where they're disappearing through?
That would have already
disappearing,
happened.
Reappearing, and then he throws the giant cellophane S.
No, dude, that would have already happened.
That would have already happened.
This stuff, all this stuff happens after that.
Okay.
Him? Me?
So you think it plays better just in dialogue and just in cuts?
I think if they had probably done a blend of both of the elements of this part of the scene from both versions, I think it probably would have been better.
Silence!
But because of their, insistence on not cutting anything the same way, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Promises were made.
Gifts exchanged.
I gotta hand it to you. You always told the truth.
I wish they would have played this a little differently.
The thing is also at this point, Lex should be pretty keenly aware that Zod will kill him as soon as he get what he wants. He should be switching sides to Superman.
Yeah.
What he's doing
because he has no leverage over him anymore.
Well, no, he doesn't. And every time they think they've got enough from him, they go kill him. Despite whatever deal they made.
Yeah.
And Luther's smarter than that. At this point, he'd be trying to get out of this.
Kill her.
I wish they would have just. Obviously, he's playing along. Superman is. He's letting it happen a little too easily.
Yeah.
And even the previous scene where he's talking with Luther, when they're talking in private, the expressions on his face, he's acting like he's acting.
Yeah,
it's too much. It's like, tone it down just a tad. You're trying to sell a lie here.
I get it.
I think the direction was just a little off, I think.
With your permission.
Yeah, this must have been shot earlier or something, because doesn't he look smaller?
Reeve?
Yeah, he looks tight. The uniform looks kind of tight on him. He doesn't look as big.
No, he doesn't. See, look at that.
That's him.
Who is that guy?
Wait, that wasn't him. Yeah, that's not him.
That's not him at all.
It's the guy that looks like him. Oh, a little bit, anyway.
And why? Like I said, Lester had footage. But because I don't understand why they did this at all.
Yeah, Lester has footage of him in there.
I mean,
yeah.
We've seen the scene with him in there. So why would you do that?
I don't know. I mean, other than the fact that Donner didn't like what Lester used. I don't know.
For the cost that it would have, to have a crew to do all of this seems ridiculous. Just use that damn shot of Chris Reeve doing that. And at least it's Chris Reeve.
Well, I mean, at least we lose the stuff. I mean, not in this scene, but in the other scene when he's losing his powers. We see the close up of his like skull, and then it's like, it's like a little too much.
I agree.
It looks kind of bad. I'm glad that stuff isn't there anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
No. But at least this is all still here.
But see this
with the hand and everything.
I think they use a different shot for when he lifts him up, and unfortunately the music beat is different.
Oh, that's too bad. Because it works so well in the other one.
Yeah, exactly. It was pitch perfect in the Lester cut.
Well, let's see here. What do they go with?
So you won't hear it, so it's not going to be the same. But
this is all still the same.
But I'm telling you, it sounds different.
Oh, well, I'll have to take your word for that.
Yeah.
And where do they fall to?
They don't really say.
No. But they survive, because don't they show in this version them being taken away?
By the Arctic police?
Yeah.
I'm not sure in a minute if they actually show that. I mean, we all know that footage exists in the TV cut.
Because I've seen it somewhere. I can never remember
we've seen
where.
it in the TV cut, but I don't know if they show it here.
Hey, you know something?
I hope they don't. I'd rather it be implied that A, they're dead, and B, people don't know where the fortress is.
Yeah, Arctic police.
Yeah,
that was always a little funny to me.
I knew you'd double-cross me, Luther. Lying weasel.
That's dialogue. That's not very. I never really liked that.
Yeah.
I knew you double-crossed me, you lying weasel. It's kind of that's too comical. A little much.
Look, Superman. I got a proposition for you. Now, don't stop me. Don't stop me till you've heard this, because I know I owe you one.
I don't know. It always felt like Luther was kind of shoehorned into the plot a little bit.
Yeah.
He's just tagging along.
Yeah. See, look, no Arctic police.
No. Okay. So you just assume that they're dead somehow. Do you find that enough of a resolution? Because they don't say, oh, they're dead. They just fell. Fell where?
It seems like I don't know. I always got the impression they just fell into some abyss, and died.
Well, they're all. It's not like it's not like the end of the Last Crusade when what's her face falls down. It's.
I know. I never questioned that they were dead.
And well.
And Lois kills one, Superman kills one, and the other one falls.
Well, who knows what's under that fog? Maybe it's a foot underneath there's ground. It's just like you don't know. They don't tell you.
Yeah. Well, if
they're dead now.
They're dead now. Yeah. And where's Luther?
Yeah, where did he go?
Because originally shot, he gets picked up by the Arctic police. So in this, now especially with them standing here, and she does look good there.
No, she did. Yeah, this is good looking stuff.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, now you're wondering where Luther is.
Good night.
Oh, yeah.
She really shouldn't smile, though. It's not good for her.
No. All right.
At least not that way. She can do like full-on laugh smiles, but not those like little things she just did.
Each other, all the time. But it just can't be.
She's like, don't Don't say what you're about to say. You're kind of saying it, man. I just killed for you.
Oh yeah, doesn't she? She just wants to be friends with benefits. Right?
Well, no. He's saying we can't. He's like, look what just happened. We cannot be together.
Sure.
They almost killed you to get to me. I can't have that. And she's like, no, it's fine.
Just don't forget that song. Don't ever forget.
Of course. Then he promptly makes her forget.
Oh, this is really good looking stuff. I like it.
Now, of course, what they do here, I don't actually like. After he leaves her here, he goes and rewinds time, and he doesn't just rewind her knowledge of him. He goes back to basically the start of the damn movie, to where none of the stuff happened, and I don't like that. I think that hurts the movie. I think they should have ended it with her like this, with him breaking up with her, and not do the rewinding of time. Have her know who he is and live with this hurt. I like that. That's more dramatic. It's more interesting.
Yeah, I think...
your secret's safe with me. Leave it at that.
This is more powerful than reversing time.
Yeah, leave it at this. Don't reverse time.
This is an emotional climax.
Exactly.
You don't need it. It's like, well, why can't she just know? What's the big deal?
I understand because they were trying to recreate what Superman 1 and 2 could have been, why they did this. But, at some point you have to decide, this movie needs to stand on its own, and it is more powerful to end it this way, especially if you are going to watch them back to back.
I guess, they didn't want to leave it on a down note, like an Empire note, an Empire Strikes Back note, where it's a down ending.
Well, they should have, because just imagine if Donner had gone and done 3. Who knows? 3 could have been our Jedi,
Well, if they did it, if they ended it like this, that may have pissed people off. Like, I don't want to leave with her crying, but
it was the right choice.
I think it would have been. And this is all new stuff because this is when time goes back.
Yeah, and then and get a load of this shot when they show Lois typing. It's not her at all. Look at that.
Oh,
who the hell is that? I cannot believe
on a huge screen.
This.
That's easy to see.
But even on a regular screen, it's just not her at all.
Well, this is a giant what if, so they did the best they could.
I guess, but that was horrible.
Also, they don't show him flying around?
I think they do. Yeah, there's some modern day footage.
Oh yeah, right
that
there.
Doesn't stick out at all.
Yeah, it just...
See, he's rewinding everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't much care for that either. Erasing...
And it's out of sequence, too.
Yeah, I know. Erasing that, emotional impact that all of this had for the two of them.
Exactly.
It's a disservice, It
really is.
It is. It is. Because you're like, oh, it never happened. It just never happened. I'm like, come on, isn't that a little too easy? Looked like he was smiling right there.
Well, he was.
That's weird.
Because in reality, he's saving Lois.
It has more emotional impact.
See, now, the only way this makes sense is if you show him go and then catch that missile that then hit Zod's people, because that missile still went out there. You know what I mean?
No, what?
He went back to where Zod and company were still in the fort in the
Phantom glass. Yeah.
He then has to stop that missile that went out there and freed them.
Yeah, well,
they don't show that.
Yeah, him rewinding time just has much more of an impact when he's doing it as a result of seeing Lois dead.
Yes, exactly.
And he's, you see it on his face when he's going back, when he's reversing the world. It just, that's a good ending.
Exactly.
I can see him making a rash decision like that. This, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
He's not driven the way he was before.
So do you think it just should have ended right there on her balcony and then go to credits?
No, I think they should have had a scene here. They would have played it differently.
Where he's trying to, talk to her,
act like
everything's
okay.
normal, and she's like, she's just unresponsive or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe if they were to go back and shoot it, thinking all of that they, because obviously if Donner had been allowed to finish this movie back in 78, 79, they couldn't have ended it with rewinding time, so they would have had to have done something different for a finale here. They would have had the emotional finale on the rooftop, but this scene wouldn't exist because she obviously doesn't know in this scene. So they would have had to have reshot it. And if I was doing it just off the top of my head, like you were saying, have them have a little bit of an awkward exchange and him trying to pretend like everything's okay and she's pretending, but neither one of them are all right. But then some sort of travesty happens, on the TVs all start going crazy, oh my gosh, this thing is happening in somewhere and something. And, everyone starts panicking and looking around, and he gives her a look and she looks back and he kind of excuses himself out of the room, and all of a sudden, we see Superman fly by the window outside, and she may kind of smile because she knows, and maybe that could have been the cap.
I like that.
They
Yeah. Why
should have
not?
fucking hired me. That would have still worked. And it would have been a nice, rousing ending while still keeping the integrity of the emotional bummer. So.
Still end with this.
Now, I would not have ended with this had we just ended it the way I said, because this would undercut that. But
I don't really feel this is. I mean, it was always fun seeing him get his comeuppance, but it's not really. It's not. I don't think it's the best cap to the movie. I think we could have left on that scene we just had without this. I mean, he got his ass kicked. So what? I mean, let that guy just be a jerk. I mean, I don't think we need to see him go back and beat him up.
Yeah.
I mean, we understand why he got his butt kicked. He didn't have any powers.
Of course.
And I mean, and it's not so much of a comeuppance now because he has powers, so it's easy for him. If he actually did work out and learned how to fight, then this would mean something.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. It would have actually been a little more interesting had he done it before he got his powers back, but obviously there's no time for that.
No.
But
no, he should have said that in the Forge of Solitude. Wait, Dad, I got to go to this diner real quick and beat this guy.
I know. In the context of the way this movie plays, this is a good cap, because we need some sort of send off. Just ending it in the planet didn't work the way they had it in the movie, so we do kind of need this. But yeah, I know it's almost cruel because it is Superman tormenting someone.
Yeah.
Now, yes, even though when that guy beat Clark up, that guy was more powerful than Clark. You can argue that, but still. They're still humans, whereas Superman is Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I've been working out.
No pain, no gain.
I don't think they'd be so happy, man.
Oh, they're probably delighted. That guy's an asshole.
No, I know, but he wrecked all their stuff, and he's like, oh, here's some money, but it's like, still they gotta fix all that stuff
time
now.
and effort.
It's time wasted, It's just like, come on.
Yeah. Still works. So now, why didn't they use this kind of Starfield in that beginning rather than that dumb, cheesy Saturday morning shit?
This is a reproduced Starfield.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I don't know, whatever.
I don't know, man.
So, okay, let's get to it. Final thoughts.
Well, I think, as we've said, that there's a lot of stuff that works in either version. I mean, I miss the Paris scene.
I do too.
I think it's a good way to start off the movie. I've always liked that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I would have maybe done the Paris scene and then go to the scene in the planet.
I know there's people out there, fan editors who have mixed the two versions.
I've considered doing it,
and I'd be curious to see what one of them would be like, because I can assume that a lot of them would keep that scene in there, and who knows, maybe some of them would keep the memory kiss, some not. Although that is kind of a silly thing.
You can't win either way with the existing footage. It's either the memory kiss, or if you're,
I say no, just end it on her.
End it
balcony,
with her not
man.
knowing. That's when I consider doing an edit. That was my intention.
Even that it's a down ending. You can't have him flying off, smiling at the camera with that kind of ending.
No, that's why you would need to end it the way I was talking about.
Yeah,
they would have needed to shoot a different scene.
But all in all, I think this movie has its strengths and it has its weaknesses. I mean, it's an incomplete film. You know, they were trying to make a complete film out of an incomplete film, and you can't do that. But it's a giant what if. Like you said, we got to see something that ordinarily in history you would never be able to see. It was only because there was a huge outcry to see this other version.
The only other movie I can think of off the top of my head that has this, that has a radically different version of the movie that we knew, was Legend.
Right. Yeah.
And but that was all shot by the same guy, but it was edited very, very much different, and
different music too, right?
Yeah, and a different score. And so essentially, you are basically watching two different movies. Whereas this one, in a lot of what's his Michael Shannon, President's Aide. Isn't that the name of Zod in the new movie?
Yeah, it is. That's odd.
But yeah, in this we had a lot of examples of different footage, but that was still both shot by Donner. The same kind of thing happened in the two versions of Legend. He shot it, and they just used different takes and all that. It's amazing to see what a difference it can make. It really makes you value what editors do. Cannot be understated.
Well, and I think this movie also, unfortunately, as we pointed out, changes things for the sake of changing things, and misses out on some good stuff.
Yeah, and that's not always a good thing in this case.
I mean, I like seeing different takes, but what was there already kind of worked anyway. So
yeah, at the end of the day,
don't miss it.
It seemed like
don't fix it if it ain't broken.
Exactly, their desire to do that kind of overshadowed what may have been better for the movie.
Mm-hmm. But overall, it was a fun experiment to watch. And it holds up as its own movie.
Sure,
but I don't think either is perfect, the Lester or this version.
Right.
Unfortunately, they both have their flaws. Unfortunately,
I think a good blend of the two of them would probably result with a better picture.
Yeah, probably. But this was fun to do. Of course, the Lester cut is the one I'm most familiar with, so that's just the one I'll always think of, even though it's got a lot of elements in there I wish weren't there, but for better or worse. But this was interesting to do. This pretty much wraps up our look at Superman for the most part. I don't think it does necessarily, because I'm sure we'll do Batman versus Superman or Superman versus Batman or whatever
when that comes out
in like 3 years. We'll do that too, and maybe we'll look at Superboy one day. I kind of want to do like the pilot episode.
You really don't.
It'd be fun.
It's bad.
But right. This is Josh, the soulless minions of orthodoxy. So long. Good night.
This is Justin. So long and good night.